So what we've got here is a, what, about an 02?
Yes.
2002 Subaru Outback. You see a lot of these. We live in kind of a mountainous area. They're very popular. The repair folks know them very well too, of course. And this one's kind of interesting because we're really at a state of, the topic here is it's needs work possibly, but it's depreciated state. You should question how much you'll spend on a car when it goes way above its value. A lot of people find themselves in this situation. Sometimes it's compounded by having a loan or something. But anyway, the story here is the Subarus have a typical head gasket problem. So our friend Amy, say hello.
Hello.
Took the car to a reputable shop, one I recommend. We're not saying anything against them here, but maybe a little bit of assumption being made. But essentially, he handed her an article he'd written about how all the Subarus have head gasket problems sooner or later. This one's got 136,000 miles or so now.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, the engine, what we did here is we took the bottom engine cover off a week or so ago and sprayed it with some gunk foamy engine cleaner and pressure washed it as well as we could on ramps, just like this, and cleaned up the engine. So now we're going to take a look at the underside. At that time, I didn't think it had an obvious head gasket problem. There was actually a written estimate given. Let's crawl into our comfy confines down here. We'll see how the handheld camera works. And let's take a quick look at the soaking wet, typical Subaru head gasket issue. Glaring leaks or anything that we see. You know, we'll drop on the oil filter. Essentially, the car is not low on oil. Amy was getting a little bit worried because she felt like she was adding oil now and then in between oil changes. But really, 136,000 miles on a smallish four-cylinder, four-wheel drive. This thing's holding up really well. To me, even when it was dirty, there was no glaring leak that screamed head gasket. And now I don't see anything really to be concerned with. A lot of times these leak around the valve covers. These are a sideways engine. This is all full of oil, certainly during operation. And all these sorts of engines tend to leak there because those gaskets are subjected to thousands of hot-cold cycles as you start the car every day and drive it and let it cool. And those gaskets do deteriorate, but even those look fantastic here. So to me, a depreciated car like this might be worth $4,000 if it's in nice condition. We had an estimate of about that. It's not really telling the whole story because many times you get an engine like this in good conscience when you have the head off, it'll probably need a valve job. You could tell the person that ahead of time and say, you know, you're looking at spending $6,000 or $7,000 on a $4,000 car. If you're going to be out of pocket that kind of money, you might just rather have a $6,000 or $7,000 car. And so that's the point we make here. Amy, would you like to come take a look and see if there's any... We believe in a hands-on approach, and sometimes we have a cooperative owner who wants to learn and see what's going on.
Yeah.
So basically it doesn't look all that different from when we washed it off. I don't see, you know, here this was all grungy and I don't see any, you know, it's a little bit, it's not like you'd want to eat off it.
There's definitely like,
but
yeah,
you get under any car
there.
and there's going to
Sure.
be any place it leaks with the wind blowing and the fans blowing, everything kind of moseys
Sure.
backwards.
Sure.
A car like this, you keep driving it. It's a great value, and every day that it works is almost a bonus. Like, what can you harm it by just keep driving? I mean, there's a saying, you know, drive it into the ground.
Yeah.
We're not saying start hammering it, but you've been taking good care of it, and it's taking good care of you. I don't think it's demanding that you spend a pile of money on it.
All right.
And so let's see how that goes, and maybe we'll chalk it up to, hey,
Jemal.
we waved our magic wand and it doesn't need anything. Ah, yes, a hands-on approach. Well, hopefully that's helpful.